We're going to talk today about the last part of Chapter 13, Fire Safety. So, anytime you have a fire, there's certain things that it has to have in order to be a fire, in order to happen. So, you need to have oxygen, right? You need to have fuel, so whatever is actually going to light on fire. And then you have to have heat, and that comes in the form of sparks, matches, flames, what have you. So some of the causes of fires, it could be smoking and matches. That's generally the biggest cause. Misuse of electricity. So you overload your circuit in your house. You have some sort of frayed electrical wire or improperly grounded plugs. Defects in heating systems. Space heaters can cause fires really easily. Improper rubbish disposal and arson. So that's where you actually purposefully set fire. Now, we'll get into classes of fire extinguishers. So they're basically A, B, C, and D. And depending on what kind of fire you have, like what caused it, what is going on with it, it would tell you which class of fire extinguisher to use. So the first one is class A. So this is for like paper, cloth, plastic, wood, basically like your basic household stuff. B is for flammable or combustible liquids. So that's like gasoline, paint, cooking fat. Class C is for electrical fires. D is for burning or specific combustible metals. All right, so those tend to burn really hot, and they're very difficult to put out. All right, so what's actually in these fire extinguishers? There's a lot of different things that are in. Let me move this up here. There's many different things that are in the fire extinguisher. So mainly, you can have a water extinguisher where it just sprays water. You can have carbon dioxide, dry chemical, halon. There's all sorts of them. So let me see. I don't know why you can still see my bar down here at the bottom, but so here I found this table, and this is the type of extinguisher. So what's actually the material in the extinguisher, okay, and then what class it happens to be. Class F, I didn't really talk about, but that's really just chicken fat. Like, I set my grill on fire one time because it had too much fat in it, and then it rained, and then it floated to the top, and all the fat on top of the water caught fire. It's kind of bad. So take a minute and take a peek at these. Okay. All right. Now, if there is a fire, first things first, don't panic. Don't panic. It doesn't help if you're screaming and nobody can instruct you what to do. Okay. In the case of a fire, generally, especially if there's multiple people involved or if it's a structure fire like a school or a housing community, something like that, somebody else may know something you don't, and you better be able to listen and pay attention. So, there's a little acronym that you can use to help you to know what to do in the case of a fire. So it's RACE, R-A-C-E. R stands for rescue, anyone in immediate danger. So if you can and still keep yourself safe, do so. A is activate the alarm. Got to get firefighters there. You need extra support, especially if people get injured. They need to put the fire out. C, confine the fire. All right. If we look back at what fires actually feed off of, there's oxygen, fuel, and heat. So if we can cut off one of those three, we can diminish the fire or put it out. So if you can, close all the windows and doors. Make sure it doesn't get sources of oxygen that it would easily be able to otherwise. E is extinguish the fire. Okay. Obviously, if it's a big fire, are you going to be able to extinguish it? Probably not. But preventing fires, so you want to keep them from actually starting in the first place because it's a lot easier to prevent it than to treat it when it happens. Sometimes, depending on how large the fire is, it could take hours or days to put out completely. So you need to make sure you know what causes fires. Okay, I can't tell you how many people have blown their faces up because they were on oxygen in their nose and they're sitting there smoking a cigarette. And they wonder why they catch on fire. So make sure you know what causes fires. All right. If you see a situation that could lead to a fire, rectify it. So if you see, a gas flame on a stove and somebody's playing with a dish towel over top of it, you might want to move the dish towel. All right. Make sure whenever you see a no smoking sign, it's there for a reason. Sometimes people do just don't want smoking in their establishment, or they don't want smoking in their house. But if they have some sort of flammable gas that they use, that can be very dangerous, especially when you have patients on oxygen. You generally should not be smoking anywhere near that. All right. Another way to prevent fires: extinguish matches, cigarettes, and any flammable items completely. So how many people have you seen with cigarettes and they just flick it away and they don't put it out? Well, if you have really dry grass, it can catch the grass on fire. If it's in a house, if it goes into the carpet, it can catch the carpet on fire, the bed, what have you. And then finally, dispose of all waste materials in proper containers. Okay. Handle all your electrical equipment carefully. So remember how we talked in previous videos how if it has a frayed cord or that ground plug, that third plug has been taken off. Okay. Probably shouldn't be using it. All right. Store flammable materials in proper containers and in a safe area. If you keep gasoline in your garage because you use it for a lawnmower or a weed whip, make sure that it's stored properly, that it's not near any potential flame or heat source. If you spill some sort of liquid that's flammable, clean it up. Okay. Don't allow clutter to accumulate. So back to the 3 things that will cause a fire. Okay. Those are the fuel, right? So if you have a bunch of clutter built up, that's the fuel for the fire. All right. And then I already kind of talked about oxygen. Okay. So make sure you understand how you're responsible with preventing fires and safety problems like ergonomics. Think ahead, look at your situation, look at your environment. Personal safety, patient safety, you have to pay attention. Everything is better to prevent. You need to know how and why you're preventing it. Whether it's preventing a back injury, preventing a fire, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to also post a video on PASS on iLearn. Please watch that video, and hopefully if you have any questions, you'll let me know. My email is bartonj@dearbornschools.org.